I have very high standards, which means I also have very high awareness, which also means I have thicker skin. I'm good at fitness. So the feedback I get in fitness probably isn't going to offend me. Same with speaking. If you said to me, okay, this. The things that you're the most competent in, you call yourself out in long before anybody else does.
So let's say someone thinks they're top 1% intelligent and they're actually only 70%. And I'm trying to help them understand that you'd be better off if you just owned the 70% and then went and got smarter instead of thinking you know everything. Especially in this coaching, because this isn't going to work. We're just butting heads. And if you don't think I know more than you, why are you hiring me? What are we doing here, right? And again, I don't coach these people anymore, but in the past, it's been brutal.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. I am wearing the smallest sweatshirt known to man. I bought this in Isle of Skye, Scotland. I paid, I think, $30 for it.
Scottish.
And then I think we washed it when we got home, and the Isle of Skye floated away, so you can't really see it, but this was an island at one point. And I wanted to wear it today. It's comfy, but God damn, it is tight. All right, cool. And I would say the long sleeve chronicles continue.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That my mom's side of the family hails from Scotland.
And do you know where?
And Ireland.
You know where in
Ireland
Scotland?
is my birth father's side. Huh?
Do you know where
No
in
idea.
Scotland? No idea.
No, apparently they had clans, and there's a clan, because Emilia's from one of the clans, I guess. The Gordon clan or something. I don't know.
I have no clue. I have no idea. Somebody asked me about Scotland yesterday. I was like, I went there, but I don't know anything.
She's doing a trauma certification that she just finished.
Yeah.
And they have you go back through the generational trauma. For anyone out there who's curious, look up generational trauma. It's a thing. It's mind-blowing.
Anybody who's curious and you want to take a deep dive into thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. Epigenetics is the idea that we pass down traits through our genetics, but also we can also shift them and change them. It's kind of like adaptation eventually into evolution. But
Science.
Not only is it that, but it's also experiences. If there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, it talks about if you have trauma, your body holds on to that trauma, and then that creates cycles, patterns of behavior that then, alcoholism is a good example, right? So for me, my birth father's mother, my mom, is from Ireland. She's born in Ireland. And in Ireland, they like to drink. So there's definitely a tendency in my genetics for alcoholism. And that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be an alcoholic or anything. It just means you have a predisposition to it. Yeah. And if you're not aware of that stuff, you might feel not fully seen or understood. Because I remember people be like, oh, well, Alan, why don't you just have one? Oh, I hadn't fucking thought of that.
You don't have to have 12. You
Okay.
could have...
I wish I had thought of that. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Well, that's always really good advice when you go to someone and say, like, yeah, I'm really struggling with blank. And they just say, like, have you ever thought of just, like, not struggling with it? Like, oh, shit. Wow. It really circled the, never.
Never
Have I ever
considered
thought
not
of-
having anxiety.
Yeah, no, it's like, maybe I'll stop thinking about being anxious and then it'll go away. Awesome. Thank you for that. Cool, you've solved all my problems. All right.
It would actually help you to just think about trying to be as anxious as possible. It's called paradoxical intention. It might not actually work. I don't
trust that.
All of what I've said thus far, just ignore. We're
Take
get
it with
into the
a
episode now.
grain of salt, as they say. Okay, so we were previous episode. Maybe you shouldn't be courageous around certain people. It was a shorter episode. It was like 20 minutes. This will probably be like 25 minutes. It won't be super, super long. But we said we were going to do a part 2. And I think there is a lot of gold buried in this conversation because almost all of the content you consume that tells you to be more courageous should probably have a little asterisk next to it that says, do this around the right people, though. Because if you don't do it around the right people, this was my thesis in the previous episode that I don't know if I really got to land. Okay. Alan used the example of there have been some people in the past where I got invited to things, and rather than taking the Kevin way out and telling a fib,
All 4 tires were slashed.
everything I don't even know what year it is. I forgot what year it was. Thank you so much for inviting me. I didn't know what year it was. I would probably not give them the level of truth that you gave them. But this is what happens. If you give the level of truth to somebody that you're ready to give, they are not necessarily ready to receive and then give feedback back to you. You might feel like you're the asshole for giving the truth, when in reality, that's what you've been working so hard on in terms of your self-worth over the last however many years, and it might convince you that you shouldn't do that again, when in reality, that's not necessarily the truth. That's why stuff like this is so hard, because it's beyond you. It's outside of you. It's not just you. You could give yourself whatever level of feedback you want that you believe you're ready for, and then you can respond accordingly. But when there's somebody else introduced into this, it potentially jeffs everything.
What do you think emotional maturity is?
I think emotional maturity is the ability to hear feedback, and I'm not saying it's necessarily direct feedback, just feedback in general. The ability to hear, decipher, and classify feedback, and then do something with it, I would say.
Nice.
Not bad for a Saturday morning.
Not terrible. I'd say it was a very emotionally mature answer.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. I'm not sure I actually think that. I'm just making jokes.
Oh.
Strong work.
Thank you.
No, seriously, strong work. I'm so sorry, Kevin.
No, you're good.
I'm in a weird mood. I was like, oh, geez,
No, Alan and I came in hot, and it's a Saturday. It's like,
we're out here doing it.
I have a big video to edit after this. I'm pretty excited on it. Well, we have the chief officer meeting. I told Taryn, I was like, hey, you're not going to see me today. She's like, I thought you only have one video to edit. I said, it's a long video, though. It's going to take me like 3 or 4 hours. This is a whole fucking production. So again,
video editor Jeff.
Shout out to the amazing NLU and NLPS team that edits videos with the quickness and with the wellness.
Everything done at a professional level is harder than you originally think.
Oh, yeah.
Fact. Okay, so looked it up.
Uh-huh.
Emotional maturity, according to ChatGPT, is the ability to manage emotions effectively. That's kind of what you said, ish. Can you give us a synopsis of what you said again?
Honestly, no.
Okay. is the ability to manage emotions effectively, respond to situations with self-awareness, and navigate relationships with wisdom and balance.
Fuck yeah. I said the same shit. I said the same shit as Chad, as the team calls them. Chad GPT.
Do they really? Chad?
Chad.
Yes. It involves taking responsibility for one's actions, handling conflicts constructively, and maintaining a stable sense of self regardless of external circumstances. Nice.
That part's better than mine for sure.
There's a book called Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Now, I have not read said book. I have heard about said book from several people in the Evolve community and relationship talks coaching clients. Because most likely, if you're out there watching or listening and you resonate with Kevin and I, there's a high likelihood that you are a child of at least one emotionally immature parent. Okay? Just saying. Check out the book. Ask yourself this question. Okay. Not trying to hit on the parents out there. I understand they didn't have Google. They didn't have these books. They didn't have Audible. They didn't have YouTube. I get it. Okay? I get it. Google's only 28 years old, man. When our parents were kids, they didn't have that. They had to go to the library, man, and they had to look up in encyclopedias what emotional immaturity. They didn't have a phone that they could say, "Hey, what is vulnerability?"
Do you remember, all you youngins out there? This is gonna wreck your day. Maybe. Do you remember when you had to pay for text messages?
Yeah.
Remember one time, my mom, my bill was like $400, and my mom was just so angry. She said, you went over your texts. Who could you possibly send 600 texts to over the course of a month? It's like, Girls.
Yeah.
Girls, man.
Girls.
But I'm at 600, that's it.
Yeah.
I send 150 messages a day now. 600, that's all you got.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it's a very different world than it was
It is.
20 years ago. I don't think humanity does not fully understand how much change has happened in the last 20 years. I'm convinced of it. We are going through something. I want to have empathy for all of us for a second. Jen, if you are millennial or younger, you grew up in an environment that was 1,000 times different than our parents did. It's probably 100,000 times, to be honest. There's a paper called The Law of Accelerating Returns by Ray Kurzweil. It's fascinating. It's boring as shit.
Naturally.
Both of those simultaneously can exist. The thesis is we are experiencing 100 years of change every year. It's insane.
It is wild.
If you look at history. Yeah, I mean, the bicycle was invented 250 years ago. Dude, again, different episode. So here we are on ChatGPT. We're looking this stuff up. So if you did have emotionally immature parents, I understand. I'm not trying to be unkind. I'm trying to help people get better. Okay, cool. Here we go. Disclaimer done. Key signs of emotional maturity. Self-awareness. Recognizing and understanding your emotions without letting them control you. Nice.
Yeah.
Number 2, emotional regulation. Managing emotions rather than being overwhelmed by them. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, but taking responsibility. Owning your actions, mistakes, and emotions without blaming others. One of the biggest things that I look for in people that I spend time with is how much ownership they take. I walked into Emilia's office last night, and I had a long day. We were supposed to record Conscious Couples. And I said, babe, I fucked us. I'm sorry. We're going to have to reschedule this. I fucked us. I just take ownership like I suck. I know. I suck. I know. I fucked us. Okay. I don't like it when people don't take ownership. You need to be able to say, hey, it's my bad. That's on me.
Can you see why some people don't, though?
Yes, because when you take ownership, a lot of people
use it against
you. Show the wound, and then they stick a knife in and twist it.
That's why it's jeffed. That's why the whole thing is jeffed.
I know, which is the point of this episode. And I will let Kevin talk on this one, I promise. All right, the other ones are empathy, healthy boundaries, constructive communication, flexibility and adaptability, delayed gratification. Whoa, so true. Because everyone knows someone who, when you hang out with them, they need their needs now. It's like hanging out with a toddler, like an adult toddler. And it's exhausting being around you. Can you just not for a minute? Can you just shut up for a second? Okay. And then letting go of the past, and then confidence without arrogance. Being secure in yourself without needing to prove anything. It's very, very rare. Like emotional maturity is I mean, there's 10 characteristics you have to work on to be emotionally mature. And so,
yeah.
There's 2 types of people in the older generations, and again, this is an overgeneralization, don't quote me on this, but there's the very stoic, don't show any emotion, so that you seem emotionally mature when you're not. Or there's the sort of emotional train wreck of highs and lows and lows and highs and highs and lows. And I think that true emotional maturity is being more centered in the storm.
I'd say that's fairly well said. I think it requires a lot of... It's like there's a level of discomfort, and then your response to it, and then your response to your response. So if let's say you're put in this is a good example, I think. Alan coaches the team more than I ever have. We used to kind of both coach the team back in the day, but then I went in the podcast direction. Anybody on the team who has a podcast, I'll work with on that, right? But oftentimes on the team calls, there'll be a lot of love for Alan's coaching. And I'm sitting in the corner like Steven Glansberg. Woo! Yeah! Hell yeah!
Not everyone gets that reference.
Steven Glansberg, super bad reference. He was the kid in their school who always sat by himself, and unfortunately, was probably bullied because of it. But I felt like a little bit like Steven Glansberg. But the more and more so it's almost like you don't really know how you're going to respond to something until you have the opportunity to face something. And then maybe you face it and you don't face it and respond as well as you'd like. That's an opportunity for growth. That's an opportunity for more ownership. That's an opportunity for more emotional intelligence. That's an opportunity for all of that. I think I respond way better to that now than I ever would have in the past, but that's because it was very uncomfortable the first couple times it happened. And now it's just not. It's like, that's the truth, right? When I think sometimes it's hard to hear a truth that you haven't thought of before. But like there are some things that are just going to be more true than not. And I think that's one of them.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. One of the things that I've realized coaching lately is there's certain people who are so self-aware that I can share things with them that might seem hardcore or challenging to hear. But the reason I can say it is because I know they already think it.
Yeah.
So, for example, if there's someone out there who's not smart at all, but they think they're super smart, and then I allude to them maybe not being that smart, they get very offended. Because what they think of themselves, I'm trying to bring them to the reality. So let's say someone thinks they're top 1% intelligent and they're actually only 70%. And I'm trying to help them understand that you'd be better off if you just owned the 70% and then went and got smarter instead of thinking you know everything, especially in this coaching, because this isn't going to work. We're just butting heads. And if you don't think I know more than you, why are you hiring me? What are we doing here, right? And again, I don't coach these people anymore, but in the past, it's been brutal. Whereas with someone who's very self-aware, I'll use Kev as an example. I can say, like, okay, let's say Kevin is getting out of shape.
Oh, boy.
He's not right now.
New low, 180.1. Mother goose.
Nice. All right. So for anyone out there watching or listening, I want you to know that Kevin and I are bodybuilders. We've been in fitness for a decade, him 17 years, 18 years, whatever it is. I don't mean this in any negative way. Okay, we have a relationship where we're allowed to say things like this.
Let's do it.
So when Kevin was getting fat, I could say, hey, Kev, you're getting fat. And it's easy for me to say that, and it didn't ruin his world because he knows. He's like, yeah, no, I know. Now, I'm not saying it to hurt Kevin. If you want to get fat, that's all fine. You do you, right? And again, fat's the wrong word. Let's say you're gaining weight, Again, I don't want to tiptoe around it. We can use the word
I was
fat.
getting fat. I was getting fat. It's me. It's my body. I can say we can classify it the way we want because it's my body. I was getting fat. That is a fact.
Perfect.
I am 5'5", 190 pounds. If you look it up, and yes, I have a lot of muscle, but I was fat. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So I said this to Kev behind the scenes. This is back in 2022, I think, or 2023. I forget when. But it was when Kev was letting it ride. He wasn't as into fitness, and that's okay. And I said, dude, this is next level you, not dad bod you. Now, my point I'm making with all this is Kevin is emotionally mature enough to handle that, knowing I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm actually trying to help you. Number two, you've called me fat before, and I appreciated it because you're absolutely right, okay? And number three, let's be real. We've been letting it ride, man. We got to get it together. This is not okay, and we have better standards than this. Now, everything's contextual, and so you obviously, this is not fat shaming. That's not what this is.
No.
Everything I'm trying to explain here is how emotionally mature are you to where you can handle that level of feedback because you already know it in your own mind. Kev already knew it. You want to know why he knows it? He contemplates. He doesn't wake up in the morning and not go, I'm kind of letting it go here. Ruh-roh.
Yep.
And he doesn't have a ton of shame around it because he owns it. And so I think what happens is when you give a vulnerable truth, the original point of this episode, if you poke shame, people get triggered. And it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's a trauma response. And so we're unintentionally poking. If Kevin was ashamed that he was getting fat, his response might have been way worse. He might have attacked me. Dude, fuck you. You're fat too, or whatever. And when in reality, he has the emotional maturity to know, okay, Alan's trying to help me. He's not trying to hurt me. He's also calling me out for something I've called him out for. So we have that relationship. And also, I already know that, brother. Like, that's not news to me, right? And go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. There's too many things firing off in my brain right now.
I'm grateful.
Saturday morning recordings are the GOAT. They are. I hate them. It's like, I don't want to do this right now, but I love it too. Okay, one thought. I think this is why people that say don't care what people think are missing a huge piece. Yes, honestly, if somebody was to message me and tell me I'm out of shape, it would be like, I don't really care. Cool. Like, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't care. Because I'm very confident in that. I have very high standards, which means I also have very high awareness, which also means I have thicker skin. I'm good at fitness. So the feedback I get in fitness probably isn't going to offend me. Same with speaking. If you said to me, okay, this. The things that you're the most competent in, you call yourself out in long before anybody else does. You and I, how many times do we just laugh at each other because of how bad we are as speakers?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not insecure about that. If we were insecure, that would screw this whole thing up.
Yeah.
If Alan laughed at me when I misspoke and I was insecure, I would be like, dude, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm like putting myself out there. That's not
But
a
I
relationship.
wouldn't laugh at you if you were insecure.
But perfect
and that's
segue.
emotional intelligence.
Perfect segue. Whose responsibility is it to give the right amount of feedback? Because if I give somebody level 10 feedback and they're level 5 confident, level 5 competent, level 5 self-worth, level 5 self-belief, can I really be mad at them if they lash out at level 5? If they close the distance? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's a leadership thing.
However,
And
this is what's happened to me is, and Kev and I have been talking a little bit about this behind the scenes, is someone will come into my world and then they'll hold the high side of perception and kind of make it seem like they're a lot more confident than they really are.
Yep.
So then let's say someone works with me, and this is in the past, I don't do this anymore, but let's say someone works with me and they come in as if they're level 10 confident. They portray level 10 confidence. I mean, they are just, oh yeah, I'm dialed in. Let's go. I'm going to give them level 10 feedback.
or like, I want to be the best in the world at this.
Exactly.
It's like,
They'll literally say, I want to have the most successful XYZ in this industry. Well, I'm going to have to give you feedback at level 10 if you're aiming for level 10 goals. It's not like, and again, I know I've been using Michael Phelps a lot as a reference, but Michael Phelps' coach had to be hard on him. He can't like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, yeah, that's right. You slept in, you drank last. Don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. The gold medals will win themselves.
But a little league coach doesn't have to be that.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Sometimes little leagues coaches are like that.
Well, those are the clips that go viral because it's like,
whoa, take it easy.
yeah, the kids are 12 years old.
Yeah,
12.
Exactly. Well, Michael Phelps was 11 when he wanted to win a gold medal. So.
But he wanted to win it, I guess. So
Exactly,
that's the difference.
Well, that's why Kev came to me one time and said, dude, you're going to fucking lose the show. But that's because you knew that I was confident enough to handle that. Right? And so, unfortunately, a lot of people act. Here's the cycle. I'm deeply.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Damn. I metaphorically, not me, but anyone out there, I am insecure internally about something, about myself. Okay. So I puff up to protect myself so no one gives me feedback. I hire a coach, and that puffing up still happens unconsciously. Mm-mm. The coach thinks I'm actually that confident. The coach gives me level 10 feedback when in reality I'm deeply insecure about it. I have to go. Or I have to attack or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't realize that that's what people were doing. Kevin would always tell me in the past, he's like, dude, people aren't as confident as you think. They're acting confident around you. And you said that you give people permission to dream big, so they dream really big. And I actually thought that you meant it. Like, I had one client, I'll get off in a second, I know we gotta go. I had one client who said, I want the most successful production company in Canada. And I was so naive, I actually thought he meant that. British Columbia Pictures. $60 billion a year. So I was like, okay, let's do it. It's going to take you 60 years, but we can do it. I had him tracking 32 habits, 6 metrics, and he was grinding every single day, and he grinded himself out, obviously. But I thought he meant that. And he's like, oh, no, dude. Like, no. I meant like, well, did you not look it up? I took it literally.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. People come and they want goals and dreams, and, you can do anything you set your mind to. That is so dangerous. That's so dangerous. You basically set yourself up for a life of feedback that you don't even want. It's not good for everybody. And so it's really important to just align your goals with who you actually are.
That would be a better / longer bumper sticker. You can do anything that you set your mind to, have the competence in, and are willing to learn in, and are capable of handling feedback in. That's probably a better bumper sticker, because
You need a big bumper sticker.
you're going to need a big bumper too. I guess bumpers are big enough. I think you stretch that thing out on the back. No reason you can't have like 5 lines, But the amount of feedback is probably the hardest part. That's a big thing. One of the hardest resistances from where you are today to where you want to get to is all the feedback you're going to have to look at in between. And the feedback potentially gets harder to digest as you get better. Like bombing a speech, my second speech ever, is different than bombing a speech now, because I was naive. I didn't know. Now I feel like I know what to do. So if I don't do it, that's different. That's a different level of feedback. It's weird. It's weird how the whole thing is set up. What do you think of this tiny sweatshirt?
It's great.
Super comfortable.
This is a super valuable episode.
You think?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I didn't record it, so we'll do it again and we'll send it off to the people.
I'm a little insecure because these are topics that are. Yeah, it's a lot of feedback. That's really what it comes down to. It's a lot of feedback. So to wrap it up, how much feedback are you willing to take? How well do you take that feedback? And then what do you do with it? And the feedback of the self, we're going to get into this in the next episode. The feedback of the self, that's the hardest. That's the identity stuff. That's the, oh, I am lanky. Shit. I'm actually not that good looking. Damn. Okay, wow, I'm actually not that smart. That sucks. But it's also how now you can work out and be less lanky. Now you can read more books and get more smart. And now you can, what was the other one I said? I'm not that good looking. Yeah, you can work out and get better looking. Drink more water, hydrate, take care of your skin, right? There's something you can do about all these insecurities.
Take steroids as well. You take steroids. All right, cool. Next Level Nation.
He's joking.
I am joking. Well, no, I mean, you want to take steroids out there, you take steroids. Who the hell am I to tell you what to do? They're not good for you.
I can't promote it.
I'm not promoting.
Brought to you by Next Level
Steroids. Yeah, next Level Steroid Solutions. That's going to be our next business.
Alan Lazarus is natural.
Oh, Kevin Palmieri is also natural. If I've been working out for 18 years and I've been taking steroids for 18 years and I look like this, fuck me. I mean, shit. We have really messed up. Yeah, no, I'm not promoting it, but you do. Who am I to tell you how to live your life? I guess that's what this podcast is about, like trying to help you live your life in a more aligned way. But who am I to tell you what to do on the weekends? April 5th, 2025, Next Level Live 2025, fully virtual. Alan and I will be live streaming to Zoom. Tickets are $47, and with your ticket, you get access to the replay. So if something comes up in the middle of the day, if you can't attend for the whole day, it's all good. You will have access to the replay, and we'll make sure we get that to you. Again, $47 for a 7-hour event. It's going to be super valuable. Alan, myself, Amy, it's going to be wonderful, and you can consume some next level content in your pajamas from home. So we'll have the link in the show notes below.
If you are someone who cares more about achieving your goals and dreams than you do about avoiding tough feedback, my coaching is for you. If you have inward humility and you really do want to know more about yourself, I'll ask you questions that you've never been asked before. I was on with a new client yesterday, and he said, this is way different than I expected in the best way. And it's the work that I do every single day except for Sunday. So 6 days a week I coach. And so I'm practicing day in and day out. And It's my favorite work in the world. So if you're humble and eager to learn and you have work ethic, reach out. I would love to coach you. If you don't have work ethic and you're not humble and you want big rewards for minimal effort, do not reach out to me under any circumstance.
Reach out to me. If you want to be a millionaire with no work, I got you. Reach out to me. No, I don't. I can vouch for Alan's coaching. 5 stars. Alan has coached me. Even shout out to, if you're listening, shout out to the clients that are doing 3 calls a week. Now imagine getting twice that for the last 8 years. It's pretty much been my journey. 5 stars.
Thanks,
and
brother.
I'd even give you a little tip. $2. There you go.
$2.
Yeah.
Very generous. Generous tip.
It'll make you earn it, you know? It'll make you earn it.
I am.
All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay next level. Next Level Nation.